Okay, and we're back. So now I'd like to just add a simple ground surface to this model. It'll look nice because if I go to say the north elevation right now, in reality, right, you wouldn't see this foundation down here. That's under the ground. So how come I can see it? That's strange. So how do we set that up? So let's go to a drawing we haven't been in yet, which is the site plan. Under floor plans, there's one called site. I'm going to click on that. So here's a site plan. It already looks a little weird, right? Everything's huge. Go ahead and change the scale to match our floor plan scale, which is 1/8 equals a foot. Here we go. All right, that looks a little better. Okay, so this is just basically as if you're floating in the air and you're looking down on your building and you're just seeing the roof, right? This drawing is really not so much about the building, but about the surrounding area. We're not going to really develop the site plan too much in here, but this is the plan I'm going to go in to actually draw the site information, the ground information. Okay, so what I want you to do now, this is super simple. I'm going to go up to massing and site, and I'm going to click on Toposurface right there. So when I click on Toposurface, if you look in the options bar, this will tell, well, here's what we're going to do. We're going to place points around here to define a surface. So 3 points define a surface, right? We can put as many points as we want on here at whatever elevation we want. Okay, so I'm just going to put it at 0 for now. Let's assume we're building on a flat ground. Okay, so here's what I'm going to do first. I'm going to keep that at 0. I'm not even going to touch that. And I'm going to place a point at all the corners of the exterior of my building. Okay, I'm just going to go around the horn here. You can see something's happening here. Just going and I'm placing points. There we go. Now I'm going to place points. I'm going to place 4 points out here to define the extents of my surface. So right now the surface is living in here, right underneath the building. That's the shape of it. And all these points help define that surface. These are just points on that surface. So all of these points are at 0 and they define the surface. Oh, God, it sounds weird. They define the surface. But here, I'm just going to put 4 out here. 2, 3, 4. So there. Now I got a big topo surface with parallelogram edges. Don't sweat that right now. So there, I've just put in all these little like control points. I don't know if I got one here, but I'm going to put one there. It didn't look like there was one. I can put one here, here, here. Revit is simply looking at all of these points and making a surface from all these points. Okay, so there is that. Now I'm going to go ahead and hit the green check. Okay, looks like nothing happened, right? Let's go to a 3D view. So I'm going to go to my 3D architectural view. Okay, actually, let's make a new 3D view. That's what I want to do. I want to go up and hit the little house. I got a 3D view down here. Yep, I got my levels in here. Okay, so what I'm going to do first is just hide these levels. Oops. Actually, let's go VV, annotation categories, levels, and hit OK. There we go. Okay, so here is our topo surface that we just put in, right? This giant, you're like, that doesn't really look that good. Okay, watch this. All right, I'm going to click section box. Now I'm going to just bring these edges in. Giving this weird shape a haircut. There we go. And the bottom, there's a control point for the bottom of that section. I'm going to bring that down a little bit. And now I'm going to go ahead and select that section cut and say hide in view elements. So there, we've just made a nice flat surface. Go ahead and change this to perspective. We just made a nice flat surface that our building resides on. Do another little display setting here, make this look a little better. There we go. Okay. Now let's go to your elevations. Let's see what happened in those. So I'll go by north elevation. Now, as you can see, I have earth down here. There's a nice chunk of earth showing, which makes sense. So if you're standing on the ground and you're looking at this side of the building, it's as if there's a section being cut through the earth as well. So it's really, an elevation is a section cut, but it's through the earth outside your building, looking at your building, not through your building. Okay, so that's how you add a nice topo surface into your project. You might want to just double check some of these other 3D views to make sure that everything's still set up right, because I believe this 3D architectural view is on A100, and that doesn't really look good. So I'm going to have to edit this view a little bit to get it to look how I want. So let me go back into here. I have crop region turned on. I'm going to turn on section box, and let's do the same type of thing. I did this in that other view before, just to give you an idea of what the heck is going on with this section cut tool. With this site topography tool. My kid's having a conniption fit up there, so that's great. Show crop region. Let's just make this bigger. Okay, that looks pretty good. I like that view. I'll go ahead and hide that section box. I'm going to turn my roof back on. There we go. So that looks like a reasonable 3D view. Maybe something a little bit more like that. All right, let's go back to A100. Okay, not bad. This is just too big though. So let me check. Go back to 3D architectural. That's why I had it on, I think, orthographic. It's going to look a little weird. There we go. That's okay. Turn that section box. I hid it, so let me turn that back on. Actually, I'll just adjust it right here. I want to make that earth a little thinner. Okay. Okay, let's go back to the A100. Now I can select this and give it a different scale. Let's try 1/16. There we go. A little better. Make that look reasonable. And one more thing I want to check in that view. I want to just hide my crop region. There we go. Back to the sheet. There we go. Okay. So now I have a nice chunk of earth under there. That looks good. My floor plan views really don't change because you can't really see any of that change that we made, which is, adding the earth, but we can see it definitely in our building elevation views. So those look great. Those look fantastic. That is how a nice elevation should read. Really like the feature of turning the shadows on. Just trying to get this tag a little lower. You gonna cooperate with me, tag? Sometimes you gotta talk to it like that. Okay, so we got our earth in there. We got our elevations. Last thing I want to go through is building sections. Super simple. I'm gonna go to my floor plan. We've been making sections in our project just to sort of get the hang of things and be able to see different parts of our model and focus in on areas, but we don't really have a section that just like goes through the whole building in both directions. So sections isn't just like, you never just want to like throw a section in and you don't really think about where it is. It's just in the middle. Okay. You really got to be strategic in this building, right? I have a 2-story space right here. So I definitely want to have that in my section because that's really important to show, that, there's no floor here, and, you can't really tell that from the floor plan, right? So I'm just simply going to go up to View, Section, and I'm just going to draw one here. I'm going to put one maybe about right here. Okay. Now, after I draw it, I can see that, okay, I can see from up here, it's cutting all the way to here. And I can see this deep after the cut. So let's go ahead and hit that little arrow right there. If I double click it, that section drawing will open. So here's that section. Now we got the same issues we did as the elevation. So first off, I'm going to click my crop region here, and I'm going to bring it down a little bit so I can see all of the building. That looks good. Maybe I'll bring this out a little bit more. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is hide the crop region. I'm going to change my details to my detail level to fine. Okay, and let's see what's going on here. All right, so this wall in the background I know is curved, so it's curving away, so I'm seeing some structure die into it. That's fine. I can see that there's no floor here, right? And this is all open. So there's one piece of structure right here, big steel beam, and I'm seeing some other things in the distance, but there's nothing right here. So that's what I want to highlight. Now this section looks okay, except I'm getting the duplicates again, right? So I'm going to go VB, Revit links, by host view, custom, annotation, custom, and I'm going to turn off levels and grids. Grids, levels, okay, and okay. Okay, that looks better. I'm going to save. That's a good idea. So those are out of there right now, but I also want to mess with this view just like we did our elevations a little bit. So I'm going to go to graphic display options, hidden line, smooth lines with anti-aliasing. Let's turn on shadows. Let's see what the heck this does. Pretty cool. It's sort of, I don't know if the shadows are really helping us in this case because it's kind of bringing in, it's as if the building is cut, so it really doesn't help. So I'm going to turn off cast shadows, but I will keep on ambient shadows because the ambient shadows are nice because it kind of shows the curve of that wall back there. So that's helpful. Okay, that looks pretty good. Now I'm going to go up to view templates and say create template from current view. And I'm going to call this arc office sections. I'm going to hit OK. And I'll hit OK again. All right, so that one looks good. This section is done, and it reads really nice. I can throw this on a sheet just like I did with the elevation. So I would start a new sheet called A300, put my two sections on there. So I'm just going to make one more section. So I got this one right here. That looks good. There's no numbers in here yet because it's not on a sheet. Now I want to do another section in the other direction. So I think I'll do it view. Oops, I'm in a sheet. I have to actually go to level 1 floor plan. And I'm going to go view section, and I'll do it like right here. Okay. Maybe bring this in a little. Well, let's go to that view. Okay, this looks pretty good. I'm going to change my clipping region there. And now I'm going to apply the template that we just made. Arc office sections, hit OK. Way better. And I'll turn off my crop region, and I'll bring some of these levels. Maybe I'll bring these a little closer. I'm going to bring it a little closer, but I'm grabbing a lot of earth out there. So maybe let me show that crop region again. I'm just going to do this. there. Bring this into about there. Hide it. That looks way better. And it's also showing the other section I have in here if you want to go. That's nice to have on both sections. So they sort of reference each other. Let me drop those grid lines down. That looks better. And now let me go to that other section. That looks good. There's that other section marker in there. So let's call the first section we made runs vertically on my floor plan. So I'm going over to the sections in my project browser, and let's rename this North-South section. And let's rename this other one East-West section. There we go. Got our sections made. Now these are ready to be put on sheets, and I'll put them on starting A300 right after A200. So I have floor plans, then I'll have elevations, then I'll have sections. So your assignment's going to be create your building elevations and then create your building sections and basically do everything we did in these lectures, and then you're going to submit the sheets to me. Okay.